and very preliminary analysis of what Vail Associates thinks caused the accident. We'd like to describe the operating record of the type of equipment involved in this accident and the inspection requirements as we understand them. Then we'd like to speak to what comes. The accident was reported at 9:25 a.m. at patrol headquarters. The dispatcher, Roger Hesseltine, called Eagle's Nest Patrol Headquarters. Dave Standish, a member of the Vail Professional Patrol, was the first on the scene of the accident, which was at Tower 5, Gondola number 2, which is located between the 9,500 and the 10,000 foot elevation, about 2/3 of the way up the mountain. The tower height, that would be the total tower height to the top of the tower, is 127 feet above the surface of the ground. Standish radioed that a major medical emergency had taken place and requested all available doctors and additional help to the scene. Approximately 9:30, the patrol dispatcher notified the Vail Clinic and the CAT crews of the emergency, and cats and snowcats began, and ambulances began moving to the scene. Reaching the accident site, 5 of the injured were removed immediately by toboggan. The more seriously injured were removed by snowcat to the ambulances that were waiting at the Forest Road slope access. At 10 a.m., the patrol mounted the tower and secured with ropes and chains a third car, the car immediately behind the 2 that fell, so that that there was no chance that there would be any further incident regarding the occupants of that car. The evacuation of the 6 adults in that car began immediately. Then the number of persons evacuated is approximately 225. We cannot give you an exact number until we have been able to check all the names involved. One erroneous impression which may have arisen earlier.
Names if anyone is interested. The other injuries were another man who had a kidney injury who has been stable and would anticipate no expected. Another gentleman with some back injuries and head injuries, but again,
a preliminary unofficial analysis of what caused the accident. But you must understand that this analysis is not official. It does not follow the investigation which is underway, and it has been put together from a combination of observation on the scene and eyewitness accounts. It was reported by eyewitnesses that a strand of the exterior cable sheath was apparently hanging from the track cable below Tower 5. Now, I think the best way to help you understand that, and it looks like we don't have any.
Here's
chalk. Oh, there it is, good. The upper cable, which carries the cars, is called the track cable. And that is a fixed cable, does not move, is very thick and strong, and has a smooth sheath on the exterior, which I'll explain. Car hangs down here. The haul cable is the moving cable, or rope as we call it in the trade, which is pulling the cars up the hill. The cable itself is an extremely complicated steel rope. In other words, a twisted rope, the kind of steel cable that is used in many industrial applications at the core. It should be bigger than that. The trouble with the standard rope as far as gondola operations is concerned is that it's rough on the surface and would give you a very rough ride if you were to have the shivs riding on top of that cable. So there are two layers of locked continuous cable strands outside of that cable, and the interior one gives a smooth bed for the exterior sheath cable, which is the one involved in this. Now, if you were looking at this, it's actually one or more of these exterior strands broke and dangled from the track cable and somehow became entangled with the car as it moved along, and then when the car reached the tower, that entanglement caused a derailment of the car and caused it to fall. That is strictly speculation and cannot be confirmed until the Forest Service and state investigation is completed.
How many other alternatives could there be, Bob?
The principal fact of this accident is the derailment of the two cars, and we're not in a position to speculate beyond that point.
Bob, I'm sorry, but for those of us who are here for radio, could you repeat just the tail end of your diagnosis, the entanglement?
Yeah.
Because you were away from that.
Okay.
Is that to say that the gondola didn't jam to us?
Have an emergency and shut down before any further damage was done.
You don't know how he became aware of the problem?
No. It did.
The lift, and when was it last inspected?
Okay. That's my next subject. Are there any other questions on that? Yeah.
How many cars?
Derailed and two cars fell. The third car was partially derailed, and then a fourth car
We're ready, thank you.
Okay. Vail's gondolas have operated without any kind of major incident or accident for approximately 31,000 operating hours, according to our hasty calculations this evening. Don't hold me to that exact number, please. Gondola II has operated for approximately 11,000 hours, and Gondola I for approximately 21,000 hours. Gondola II was installed in 1969. Gondola I was installed in 1962. This number of hours represents over 12 million skier rides. Approximately 5 million on Gondola II and approximately 7 million on Gondola I. To our knowledge, this type of equipment, the Bell bi-cable gondola system, has not, to our knowledge, had any accident of this kind in the some 30 years of the history of this type of equipment. The cable is a full lock coil, solid core cable, made in Switzerland by the St. Egid, A-E-G-Y-D, Iron and Steel Works in St. Egid, Switzerland. The installation was originally inspected by the Colorado Passenger Tramway Safety Board and the U.S. Forest Service on November 10, 1969. It has since been inspected annually in the spring of each year. It was last inspected, that is, the last formal inspection, was in May 1975. It was accomplished by Wire Rope Industries Limited of Vancouver, British Columbia. And that inspection consisted of a visual and X-ray inspection of the entire length of both lines of the track cable, which is the upper carrying cable. During the season, the cables are inspected on a weekly basis, visually, at which time each of the saddles, that's another probably term you should understand, at the top of the and I'd like Mr. George Tourtillott, Chief of Investigation for the U.S. Forest Service.
At approximately 11:30 this morning, subsequent to the accident having been reported into the regional office, I was appointed Chief Investigator under our procedures that are set up as a procedural matter for investigating accidents in the National Forest. The team was put together of 6 members on the regional basis. The team members are Tom Evans, Division in the regional office, Chuck Dwyer, who is actually that other tramways may be involved in relationship to the facts that developed and led up to this accident. That is our main objective, to determine what happened, why it happened, and what needs to be done in a total accident prevention scheme. I will not deal in speculation at this time. We arrived here on the scene at about 4 o'clock and have started the process of interviewing the people who were involved. I was, when I arrived, given a quick rundown on essentially what Mr. Parker has already told you in what happened as they understood it and what was done. I don't know how long our investigation will take, but we won't leave it until we have determined all of the pertinent facts in the situation. Questions? As quickly as we can put the facts together and assemble the report, it will be available. I cannot in any definitive...
If your report finds that there are problems with this tramway at this time of cable, what powers do you have in preventing?
To shut this thing down and require that a replacement of the cable be made. If the facts bear up.
Are there more questions for Mr. Tourtillott? If